I'm going to show you the typical American house here in the city. So as you can see, we are in Cincinnati. So these are the houses that we have around it. So as you can see, it's kind of the Simpsons. So if you see the cartoon, so basically you have one house, one next to the other one next to the other one. It has its pros and cons, but I'm going to show you now how is everything inside of this house. So if you want to hire me, for fix something like that, or if you need, guidance. So because you want to invest here in US, I'm going to show you everything, the pros and cons of this house. As you can see here, this is the front of the house. So this house is very old. I think it may be 50, 60 years old easily. So this house, it has 100 amps electric panel, so that means it's old. The house is very old. So as you can see here, you have the grass. So as you can see, you see this hill. You see neighbors have the same hill, so it's going to be a pain in the butt, every time you have to cut the grass. If you're thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy a house like that, you're going to have some issues. So here I'm going to tell you, at least I'm going to show you the outside first and then the inside later. But at least, you have to keep this in mind. So when you have this type of bricks that you see here, for instance, they don't have any holes here. So that means the wall, as you can see here, is laying towards this. That is a big mistake. I mean, it's a big problem in all houses. So as you can see here, they put the drain pipe. But if you don't have any drain pipe like that, the water needs to come out some way. And if you don't have a way, it's going to push the wall all the way out. So as you can see here, you see a little bit the issue. So we are going to fix that maybe later for the customer. Here you have the steps. So if you are an old person, 60, 70, too many stairs, it might be an issue. If you're a young guy, it might be good. It doesn't matter. So this is kind of, all the houses are kind of the same. As you can see here, they have the same issue. Maybe you have a less less hilly over there. But these houses are old. So usually you're going to see cracks, as you can see here. In this case, the house doesn't have that many, maybe one there, but other than that is pretty good. So the main thing that I see is the service cable, as you can see here, looks very good. So usually if you can paint it, every 5 years or something like that, so keep the rust out and it will last for a very long time. Otherwise, over time it start peeling and then you will have to replace it, and it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to call an electrician to replace it. So here you have the old line. So this is 100 amps. So if you are going to connect a lot of stuff, you will have to upgrade the service to 200 amps. Those are the lines for everything. So as you can see, these lines, this is for old houses. New houses, they don't have anything like that. Everything is underground. The same thing like TV, cable, phone lines and everything. So you're not going to see everything that you see here, all these cables everywhere. So that is one of the things. So other than that, it looks in decent shape. You have cables hanging everywhere. The brick, I don't see much problem with the brick. It seems like they have been fixing it. So you have the pipeline that, and as you can see, the air conditioner, it wasn't behaving well, so they put it in jail. So that is what you can expect when you have a lot of thieves in the area. And here you have the electric outlets. I mean, that is good. You have a faucet over there. That is good as well. And here you have a kind of an alarm or something like that. And that is the line that you see over there for the phone line. So other than that, I don't see major problems. So you have the chimney. It's not that tall. It looks decent. The windows crack for some reason. And it's looking very good. The only thing, if you have to cut the grass, in summertime, you have to pay someone. Otherwise, you're going to have difficulties cutting the grass yourself. I mean, it's going to be a pain in the butt with this big hill. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind. I see a big, tiny hole over there in that corner. It might be a good idea to fill it, or you will have to pay maybe 500 or 1,000, to call a guy, just to come here and to replace that, and that will be a few hours job. So here you have the brick. As you can see, the brick looks decent, at least outside. And I see holes, one hole, a few for the cable, for the dish when they have the dish. Here they have this. At least they have some lights, outside. They have a door and another entrance. Everything is looking good. So what I recommend here is the branches. If you can cut all the trees that you have at least 10 feet away or 20 feet away, the better. Otherwise, you're going to have, all those ladies, growing in your roof, as you can see here in the neighbor. So that is why I recommend, getting rid of all these here. Also, I will cut it, at least 20 feet away, because with the wind and everything from that tree, you're going to have problems with gutters. They're going to clog, or you have to put some system, so that way they will not clog up over time. Other than that, I don't see a major thing. It's just a small crack over there, but other than that, looks pretty decent. But you're going to have lettuce growing on your driveway, and then you have to fix this if you don't want to have all these cracks over time. And I think if they put rebars here, they should not have this type of issue here for a very, very long time. But this is what it is. So I don't like much about old houses. You're going to have issues, and usually they're not going to fix the house that good. Just good enough to cover everything. All right, before we go inside, I'm going to tell you a few things. So as you can see, we have the handrail here. And the problem that you see here, this is all plastics. I mean, it looks great, but the problem that you're going to have is some of those are hollow. Some of them, they have a piece of lumber inside, but if they're not very well done, you're going to have issues. Also, these they put some screw on the bottom to hold it in place, and if you have kids, you're going to destroy those. I mean, they're not going to last very long. So if you put wood, I think it will be better, or metal. It might not be very nice looking, but it's going to last longer if you have a tenant. Here I'm going to show you here. As you can see, here we have the mailbox. So this is a very old one, as you can see. They don't do that anymore, and you can put the envelope here. But if you are going to receive, big boxes, they will have to put it here on the floor. Here, as you can see, there you have the storm door. The good thing about the storm door is that it will keep your place, warm or cold, depending on the temperature that you have outside. And some people, they leave it just closed, and then they leave the main door open, so that way they can see outside, and they can have the light, the outside light coming inside. So now let's go inside. I'm going to show you a few things. So here, as you can see, here is the other side of the mailbox. So you can grab your mail, just by pulling that up, and that's it. So as you can see, we have the mirror and a few other parts, and that one got broken. So I was working here for the customer doing some repairs. And the good thing about this house is that it has double panel. So as you can see, it's double panel, the side, the glass, so that way the heat and the cold is going to stay inside of the house, and you're not going to spend that much, to keep it warm or cold. As you can see here, we have the chimney. They just close it up because, you know, sometimes you get insects or maybe birds or any animal, you know, going inside. And most people, they don't use it anymore, except in maybe in the big houses. And here, as you can see, yeah, they have the double locking mechanism for security. Also on top, yeah, you have it maybe like a latching mechanism. And here, as you can see, you have a lot of junk, all the boxes that because we were working here. And here we have the glasses that are double panel everywhere. As you can see here, you have the sink, and as you can see here, you have the faucet that you can pull, and then you can, you know, wash in one side on the other side. Here you have the weight in the other side, and also you have the garbage disposal, as you can see here, and you have all the drain that you can see here, the drainage. And as you can see, this is the weight that I was talking about. The problem that you have here, as you can see, is trapped in those pipeline, and it's not working properly. So when you are pulling, it will not go up by itself. As you can see, you're going to pull, and then you have to push it up manually. Another thing that I recommend here, as you can see here, this plywood that you see here, you're going to have a leak, surely, maybe in 5 years, 10 years. So when you have water, everything is going to get damaged. So instead of replacing everything, you can just paint it, and it will be protected, and you're not going to have any issue over time. Here, as you can see, you have the sink. I don't like this type of sink. I like the sink that comes with the overlap on top of the marble, because when you have the sink under the marble, you're going to have a problem that you're going to have the water getting inside, and you're going to have a gap, as you can see, and then over time you're going to have the water getting in, and that will get damage. And I've seen that in many customers. So if you put the other one that goes, you know, on top of the marble, like I told you before, on the side, and it will be held by that, and you're not going to have any issue. Yeah, I mean, now it's fine, but in a few years you're going to have some issue. See here, as you can see, this is a picture of the customer. As you can see, it was coming loose. As you can see, this is why I'm telling you. Here I have another picture. This is the under the sink. As you can see, a few years, you know, everything start getting, you know, wet, and then things are going to get rotten. Here you have another picture that is, you know, the top from the inside, and that is why I, you know, insist in painting and everything. So here I was painting, I mean, I was taking the measurements, so that way I was able to replace it maybe later in life. As you can see here, in this example, this goes on top of the countertop, and then the probability that you're going to get water inside is going to be very minimal. Here, as you can see, you have the regular electric outlets. Here, as you can see, you have a few details that you have a little gap. It's because the electric box inside wasn't installed properly, or they have been using the old one. And you're going to see that this type of issue very frequently in all houses. That is why, if you're going to redo the whole house, make sure that everything is done properly. If you put it flush against the drywall, you're not going to have this issue. But if you have, you know, like a loose electric boxes or something like that, you're going to have this issue. If you see the rest of the house, you're going to see the same thing. As you can see here, you have another gap. And what I recommend is, if in this case, is just remove the old metal electric boxes and put all the plastic one, and everything is going to look better. Otherwise, you're going to have this issue. Here, as you can see, another detail. The door is, get stuck on with the light fixture. So maybe by sanding down, it could be good, but otherwise, you have this type of detail that the installer didn't do that. I mean, they should have done this, in the beginning. Here, the refrigerator, where it should be. Here you have the ice maker, the water line. And I don't like these type of things. I prefer if you can have a box inside of the built-in in the wall, so that way you don't have this type of issue. If you have any problem with the dog or something like that, you're going to have water everywhere. As you can see, we have a nice, very nice stove. Everything is electric, at least here. So it usually lasts a little bit longer than the other one. As you can see, you have the same little gaps. I mean, those are details. I like to pay attention to the detail. Here you should have the exhaust, but here, as you can see, you don't have anything. You don't have the pipeline or anything like that. The ductwork for the exhaust fan to take the fan out. So as you can see here, we have a few details where you can see the screws still now popping up. Here kind of is the same thing. You have the problem. I mean, the termination is not that good, but I think most people, at least the landlord of this place, they don't care. It's just a rental for them. As you can see, you have different colors with the lining. I mean, this is crazy that they don't put the same color everywhere. Here, as you can see in the bathroom, you have the same issue. You have one color here, another color in the other side. This bathtub, I mean, it looks very nice. As you can see, I mean, everything is new, looking great. The only problem with this, if you're thinking about this, you have to keep in mind that you will have to replace them maybe in 10 years, 20 years, or something like that. You have to plan, how you're going to replace them. So what I recommend is, if you put in the other side a panel, an access panel, so that way if you have to repair them or something like that, it will be easier for you. As you can see here, we have the cut for the drainage. As you can see, make sure that if you're buying the vanity, you have that little cut, so that way it will look better, and you're going to be able to install it. Also, you have to make sure that you have to paint it. Here, as you can see, if you see the floor, everything looks great, but in some places it seems like you have like soft spots. Who knows how the floor is underneath. I mean, yes, you may have issue later in the future. I mean, also, I don't like the situation, that you walk and then you have like soft spots everywhere. I mean, if you're buying a premium, for these type of houses, that is another thing. So if you're renting, who knows? Who cares? Maybe. But if you're going to rent, sell it later, it's going to be an issue. So here, as you can see, if you see the other side, everything looks kind of good. But here, as you can see, they forgot to put light inside, because, I mean, if you see, you have some light here, ambient light, but if you need, to see something inside, you're not going to be able to see everything. As you can see here, over there, they forgot to install the baseboard. They left it just the way it is. Also on the side, they left it, a big hole. I'm going to try to show you. As you can see, I mean, these are, big things, details that I see very often, that you open, you see everything looks decent, but when you go to the other side, you have a big hole. So now let's go and see the other room. As you can see, we have the same issue with the light. The light is very dark, I mean very dim, so it should be more powerful. As you can see, you have in this closet you have no light, no nothing. So you could put just another light bulb, light fixture, and then you with the sensor motion sensor you can have light. And as you can see, they left this halfway. They put the shims here for the frame, and they left it like that. I mean, they didn't even finish it. As you can see, that is the issue. Everything is halfway. You have small details, and you see this house. Oh, this looks great, but you have everything is great. But once you have been working on houses for a long time, you're going to start seeing all this. As you can see here, this is another room. Same thing. The light is very poor, and here you have no light in the closet. So as you can see, I have to use my flashlight in order to see. So here, as you can see, on the steps, they didn't finish it all the way. I mean, they left it halfway. You still can see the old wood that they had before. So they didn't pay attention to the detail. As you can see here, you have also some gaps. Is big gaps. I mean, if you're paying top dollars for this and you have like a low quality shop, that is crazy. So as you can see, more gaps, and more gaps. So as you can see, in this case, we have more light. We have a lot of more. So as you can see, if you use, for instance, 5000 Kelvin, you're going to have the same type of color everywhere. Here, the yellow one is like 2700 Kelvin, and the other ones are maybe 5000. So here you have maybe some issue with the socket, with the gap that I was talking before, when the electric socket is not well done. Here you have a lot of space on this closet. You could put, some light bulbs here, so some light fixtures. So, you have details everywhere. So as you can see, here you have, that goes up and down the line. As you can see, my cameraman, you see it's like a small, instead of being just a straight line, is, all crooked. Here, as you can see, we were working here in the bathroom, and we installed the vanity. As you can see here, they have the hole for the drain, but in the last drawer it didn't have anything. So I don't know what the customer wants to do about that. Here we have the light bulbs. I mean, the light fixtures. As you can see, there is a hole. I'm going to install a light fixture later. They left the light just like that. Here we have the exhaust fan. Here we have the bathtub. As you can see, everything looks great. But we're going to have the same issue. If you have to replace it in 10, 15, 20 years, here is not going to be difficult, but you will have to remove the vanity, because you see we will have to cut from the other side. You have to take all out, make the hole, and then do the repair. So, but if you plan all those things in advance, you don't have to do all that. But as you can see here, this it barely fits. We have to remove the trim. So you have to unhook everything, remove the vanity, go there, cut the drywall, replace it, put it all back in. So sometimes in this case, it will be better to put something smaller, and that's it. But as you can see here, oh, you cannot see it, but it feels funny also when you're walking on the floor. Here, as you can see, you have a big, like a big room next to the bath, in the same bathroom. So I will put the washer and dryer, so that way you don't have to go to the basement just to wash your clothing, because here you have the master bedroom, and the other side you have another bedroom, and that will be ideal. So when you're taking a shower, and you can put everything just straight to the washer, and that's it, instead of putting everything and then taking everything downstairs to the bathtub, to the basement. Here, as you can see, we have another light bulb that is all rusted. Maybe they have some water leak or something like that. And as you can see, there is no light fixture. There is nothing. That one is not even working. Here, the same thing. You have, different colors in the lights. So this is crazy. This landlord, he pay, someone to do all this, and they do all the job, no right. So everything it has a lot of detail, a lot of problems. As you can see here, we have I feel a lot of heat in the daylight. As you can see, we have a little vent for the AC, and here what I recommend is putting some roof exhaust fan in the roof, as you can see, and put more insulation, so that way you don't feel the heat that much, otherwise you're going to burn. Here you have the smoke detector, and here now we're going to the basement, so that way I can show you the basement, so that way you can see how the basement is, and I can show you maybe more details. The good thing about this house is that you have a lot of windows, you have light everywhere, so that is a good thing. Also, the kitchen is huge, but you have like a tiny kitchen, looks like. And here, as you can see, the basement, everything is looking ugly. They didn't finish the basement steps or anything like that, the stair. Now we're going to the basement. As you can see, we have the door. They bought it and they don't know where to install it. Otherwise, they can return it. As you can see, the basement, it looks decent. They could just have finished, all the drywall on the ceiling, so that way it can look great. So here, as you can see, they have a metal rail holding the whole house. Here we have the central air. Here you have a few details, as you can see here. They miss a light fixture. As you can see here, there is a rotten piece of lumber, and instead of removing all that, put a big beam here, and I would have put like a pass through bolts. They put just some nails, and they did just cheaply, and that's it. As you can see, looking very, very bad. So as you can see, everything that you see here is happening because they didn't paint it. Everything that goes around water lines or anything like that, you have to paint it, because sooner or later you're going to have a leak, and then you have maybe people that they cannot afford to maintain the house or anything like that, and they leave it like that for years until everything goes very, very bad. But if you do those type of things, even if you have a leak that you don't see over time, you're not going to have this issue. As you can see, this is the thing that I was talking about. If you put this faucet box upstairs in the bathroom, so that way you can have that those faucets, if you know, for the washer and dryer, and then you can hook the dryer and washer upstairs. The same thing in the kitchen. Instead of having the the little water hose hanging, you could just have it inside of the wall, and it will look much better. As you can see here, we have the drain for the washer and dryer, and as you can see here, we have the cast iron for everything. For the drain, and everything goes inside of the concrete. So sooner or later that will start, rotten or rust out, and then you're going to have holes, or you're not going to have you're going to have an issue. Everything is going to start clogging up, and then you will have to replace the pipeline. Here, as you can see, we have the gas line. So as you can see, the gas line is all bad. This is very rusted. They may have leak, gas leak any moment, but they don't want to do anything, so they don't want to leave it like that. So as you can see, that is all loose. They could put some glue, but they left it like that. Here, as you can see, another spot where all the wood is rotten. Here where you have water, always you have to paint it always, otherwise you're going to have these type of issues all the time. This, like I said before, sometimes the people, they have some problem and they cannot maintain it, and then they leave it like that, leaking for years. So as you can see here, we have the electric panel. We have 100 amps. And as you can see, that means that the electric panel is very old. So in today's new installations, you have 200 amps. As you can see, we have another electric panel. So if this house was mine, I would just remove all that, and I put everything in one, and then I upgrade the electric service to 200. Because otherwise you're going to start having issue with 100 amps is not enough. People will start adding, a heater, a space heater, and they're going to have issues. As you can see here, you have the water meter, and everything is rust out. As you can see, when you have metal, always is a problem. So maybe bronze, it will last longer, but they're going to leave it like that until they start having some leaks or something like that. As you can see, even this faucet is leaking, but they don't want to fix it. As you can see, they have a smart water meter here, so they can read the consumption from the distance. They don't have to go to the house. And then here you have another room. You have a lot of echo here, and here you have another light fixture, and is no light bulb, no nothing. So this is everything that you see in the old houses. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but you have a lot of details here. This is the problem that you're having, with landlords, that they want to pay the cheapest guy, and then they have low quality work. As you can see here, you have another small detail. The piece of wood here on the step is bad, and that's it. So hopefully you have enjoyed this tour of the house. So if you have any question, please let me know in the section below, and if you want to contact me, all my information is in the video description.